So, on this gun running mission, trying to nuke as many of these guys as I can before I go in on the ground to steal this tank. Whoops. Talk about danger close. Well, that was stupid of myself. I've done that before. First for everything, though. Alright, let's go snag this tank-a-majigger. Alright. Boogie. Grab the cargo bob. See, I wish the normal cargo bob that I owned was as beefy as this thing. It's kind of bullshit that it's not, to be honest. There we go. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the cargo bob that I have clearly has some type of a shorter cable than this one. And more than that, it's just the overall durability of this chopper. You know, it's not bulletproof, but this thing is highly bullet resistant, where the cargo bob I own is not even close. Vinewood Hills, baby. So this is going to be a great resupply mission, though. Any of the ones with the vehicles for gun running, when you complete the resupply, you're going to get far more supplies on your supply bar than you ever would with any of the others. So the tanks are good, the van, APC, you know, stuff like that. Oh, and the truck, the little truck. Was that the Karen Rebel? Yeah, Karen Rebel. You know, and I like to lace this in with my import-export CEO for vehicles. I think that's the best way to go from what I've found, at least for my personal grind. I mean, there's other options you can do, obviously, everyone knows that. You know, cocaine's it's a hell of a drug, but it's also a hell of a business in GTA. I would say pretty similar to gun running in a lot of ways. Kind of got that passive way of making you money. I mean, sure, you got to actively deliver it and actively steal it, but it can kind of build up your money while you're running around doing something else for a little while. So it's really nice to, you know, lace that with a different business, whether it's crates or, you know, a lot of people do Sightseer. Sightseer is a good way. And, you know, it keeps you on all those loading screens. As we all know, the loading screens are long. Alright, hopefully I don't flash dropping this off. Come on, baby. Calm down. There we go. Minimize some of that spring. Down. For the tree. Normally I can just drop it right in that circle, but it looks like I missed it. At least I didn't flip it. That's the worst. If you manage to flip the sucker over and it lands on your roof, you're usually gonna have a bad day. Alright, tank has been delivered. And we'll take a look at the supply bar here. Guarantee you it's gonna be pretty full, I'm thinking. I had a little bit in here before, but not much. Not much at all, to be honest. So yeah, that's great. So now that that has been done, I'm going to try and get on over to my CEO building and steal a high-end car. Serve is my cooldown up for my Buzzard? Yes, it is. Right, so, you know, that's, I think, a key ingredient for, you know, these methods is you want to have, for sure, all the upgrades on your bunker. And owning a Buzzard is, as a CEO especially, is incredible. You can get it instantly at your feet, which is amazing. Clearly one of the most versatile vehicles in the game by far. You know, heat-sinking rockets, really maneuverable, fast, very fast. Plus you can, you know, get somewhere as a crow flies, as it were, versus having to stick to the roads. I mean, yeah, you know, the downside to it, really the only downside to it that I could say that I have with using the Buzzard is I absolutely love driving in this game, and I love all the cars and modding them. I'm always playing with different vehicles, some of which I've never had, some of which I've had and sold years ago when the game was out. So that's really the only downside. But for, you know, 1.7 million, I believe, that the Buzzard costs, it's hard to think of much better value from any other vehicle. And as you'll see, you know, I mentioned it earlier, but I do have the Cargo Bob. I feel like that's very much a necessity for most of the import-export car missions, because it kind of maximizes your profits, as in you're going to take a lot less damage when you're hooking onto the vehicles and flying them over the city. You know, those NPCs that they send after you are pretty deadly. It's actually pretty frustrating because, like, you know, I get that it's a video game, but the fact that they materialize seemingly in front of you when you've already lost them multiple times, and they just keep showing up in like a random alley. You know, the way that they have the NPC population work is a little frustrating. Oh, almost got chopped up. Which I have done that way more than I care to admit. Alright, so we're at the CEO building. definitely, being a CEO and having
Anything you need, boss.
the ability to build your enterprises this way is clutch in this game. Let's go ahead and take a sit down. And, we'll look at how much money I've made just off of import-export. I've done a little bit of crates, but honestly not a lot. So yeah, 14 million, which is good. It's great, actually. That was 173 vehicles stolen, 80% steal success rate, 153 exported, 100% export rate. And the reason why
I've gotta go. Someone's coming.
I've done so well is, like I said, with the Cargobob. And I also stacked the deck in my favor in my warehouse with a certain percentage of low-end and mid-range cars. So now, every time I source a vehicle, I only get top range. $100,000 car. Or 80,000 after you do the mods. And then, this is great. Just jumping right in the Cargobob, right from the roof.
Today we're robbing an arms dealer. Only problem, this car won't start without its immobilizer.
Okie dokie. So this is one of the easier missions. There's a couple of these that can be really difficult, especially really difficult to not damage the vehicle. As far as damaging goes, I'd say the ones where you have to chase the vehicle down usually don't go super well. Unless you manage to get far enough away and shoot the driver with a sniper rifle, and then kind of not be too close that the vehicle will start to move. So that usually works out decently well if you're a good shot and know how close you can get. I'd say the other one where you have to go onto the barges, those are pretty difficult. The one that's on the East Coast is easier because there's an island that you can land on and snipe from. But the one on the West Coast is much more difficult in that regards, I'd say. Well, that wasn't the smoothest I've ever done, but whatever. Alright. Drive this sucker out of the garage. Kind of a neat car. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be like a Lexus LFA? Maybe. Alright. So here's the tricky part. Now, like I said, you don't really need the cargo bob. You can definitely get by without it, especially if you're a good driver, or you have some help. Makes it easier. And I'd say it takes time to be good at hooking on to cars. I've definitely messed it up, accidentally dropped them off the roof, or off the hook, and had them fall on a roof or the street, blow up. And it sucks, they always send these helicopters after you, and sometimes they'll shoot up my helicopter so much that I have to, ditch it, and then you gotta land the vehicle on the ground without damaging it too much. And that can be a nightmare. Or sometimes they'll just shoot the car a bunch accidentally trying to shoot you. And then instead of zero repair cost, it goes up however many thousands of dollars. So as far as, vehicle warehouse location, I don't think it matters too much in the long run. Alright, now the tricky part, coming in for the landing. What's nice though about this is you don't have to get it perfect, you just kind of have to get in the area, and then the game takes over. So, 0 damage. Incredible. It's great. That's what you want.
Okay.
So then typically, I'll just try and get the chopper over here, because we're going to use it in a minute. So as you can see, I've got, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what, 10 mid-rangers. And 12 standard. And that allows me to get these top range every time. Now, if you're going to have a lot of friends that are going to be on later that day, sometimes you can stack the deck in your favor. Just try and fill it up with, 4 or whatever high-end cars. And then you can deliver 4 at once, which is awesome. Really does help speed up the whole process, and make essentially $500,000 in
Okay,
a 5-10 minute period.
Now deliver those goods undamaged.
So yeah, as you can see, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the cargo bob from the gun running mission versus the one I own, the length of the cable on that one is incredibly long in comparison. So you can see now the enemies on the ground just populated, and they're Sultan RSs, which can be quite deadly if you're, you know, if for some reason you get cornered because there's some traffic, or you take the wrong alleyway and those guys appear behind you. You know, I've had them do thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage to a vehicle, which is never fun. Because, as you saw, you know, we had to pay that $20,000 upgrade cost up front. So essentially, this $100,000 car becomes $80,000, and any damage you take before delivery or after delivery, you know, that's all coming out of your pocket. So that's why the Cargo Bob's so wonderful in that aspect. You can really maximize time and efficiency, and yeah, money, profit. Again, you know, I guess the downside is you're not actually driving the cars, and there's some pretty cool cars. You know, I'm sure a lot of people own these vehicles. I own some of them, but I don't really have any of the high-end ones. Just not something I've spent my money on yet. Clearly, I spent it on helicopters. Both the Cargo Bob and the attack chopper, and for me, you know, I'd definitely say it was worth it. I make a lot of money easier and faster, especially when I'm playing solo. Alright. Hi-yo! So, there's a built-in timer on those deliveries before you can go deliver another high-end vehicle. I think it's a 20-minute cooldown. So you can do approximately 3 in an hour. Which is good. Really good. So, now this part you can do a couple ways. You can see my bunker isn't exactly close. I know a lot of people get the one up by Fort Zacuto instead. This is just where I chose mine. But it's a little bit further, so you can either fly there in your Cargo Bob, or you can call your personal vehicle and just drive up the coast. Or sometimes I will just call Merriweather and get a ride. It usually works out pretty well time-wise, and then it gives me the ability to kind of put the game on autopilot for a minute, because it'll kind of burn down that cooldown timer. But you know, sometimes I'm just in a hurry, and I'll just fly there with the Buzzard. So as you can see, you know, we did a whole cycle there, using the helicopters, the bunker business, the import-export business, you know, having the Buzzard for your fast traveling device and your damage dealer. The Cargo Bob is your utility vehicle for your importing and exporting. And the keys are, you got to have all the upgrades to the bunker for speed and efficiency. And then with your import-export business, making sure that you've got the percentage of standard cars and mid-rated cars, so you always get the the top range. And, you know, those are all the tools that you need. It's, you know, it takes some time to master each little part, but as long as you're, you know, a reasonably seasoned player, all that stuff is super easy. Alright. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little quick money-making guide. I know it's probably not quite as exciting as all the non-legit ways, but, you know, for me, this is how I like to play the game. And, I found it to be fun and lucrative, and it's a way to put a lot of the tools that are already in the game to use. And as you can see from this business, I've only made, you know, a little under 5 million, 4.68, 7. I've done 22 sales, so, you know, you can do the big sales and they're worth like $1 million. I've had trouble doing some of the larger ones on my own just because they typically give you multiple vehicles that you need to use, so you want to have at least one other person, preferably 3 or 4. So a lot of times I'll just let my, you know, when I go to sell my stock, I always do sell the Los Santos. I usually let it get in the $100,000, $200,000 range. I think above $200,000, and it's almost always guaranteed to give me a multiple vehicle sale, which is a little bit tougher to manage. It's still doable. And then when I steal supplies, you know, some people will recommend that you just buy the supplies, and you can, but I don't think you really need to. You want to have all the upgrades. And I haven't really done, as you can see, I haven't really done much research at all. Just hasn't been something that I've focused on. Well, anyway, that's pretty much it for that, so hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.